From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of afternoons in LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. Lots of breaking news at noontime with that big recon getting done. I have the latest details as a deal will be happening for your recon. It's getting to the finish line in the next 2 to 7 days. I have the latest at noontime. Then we turn to LALATE Told Ya. I've been detailing the recon over the last few months to you, but Americans, 90% of them, don't even know it exists. What went wrong? I'll have the latest details in this recording. Then, the price is right. A recon will come in somewhere between $1.7 and $2 trillion. This is great news for you. I'll explain to you why in this recording. And then, programs out, climate, and also community college have been removed for the recon. What does this mean for you? Meantime, big details as more student loan debt could be forgiven this week. COLA is going up. And then we turn to the 1.5-year anniversary of this channel this weekend. We got all the incredible details as 3 clusters of checks going into this recon, and there are add-ons on top of that. It's a big noontime with a lot of breaking news. As the recon is going to the finish line, finally, I got all the details starting at noontime. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope the weather is good where you are. It's been absolutely spectacular weather here in Santa Monica, where I'm live with you with your fourth stimulus check update at 2021 at noontime. Breaking details across the board as a recon deal will be hatched by the congressional Democrats in the next few days. How quickly? Within 2 to 7 days. I have the latest details at noontime. More details as Democrats have not told Americans what are in the recon, and not my fault, broadcast media's fault. All the latest details in this recording. The price is right. Yes, the price is deliciously right because it's going to come in at 1.7 to 2.2 to $2 trillion. What does this mean for you? As one of the programs is out, in fact, 2 of the programs out, climate and college being removed. Student loan debts could get you another debt forgiven this week. Which one is it? COLA is being raised not 1 but 3 times thereafter. Why? I'll have the latest details on 5th stimulus. And then guess what? It's the 1.5-year anniversary of this channel this weekend. And in that 1.5 years, we've seen a lot. I'll look back on that as we also look forward with 3rd stimulus and more. It's a big noontime, and it starts right now. And this is LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. You're going to see in this video how 90% of Americans don't even know that the recon exists. You do, because you're a subscriber to this channel. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is the 1 o'clock afternoon show. Then we got a big afternoon's LALATE at 3 o'clock. I don't want you to miss that one. By evenings, the news cycle could be totally different. I expect it to be, because this show is unlike anyone you've seen in the last 24 hours. Let's cut to the big details starting right now. A recon will be passed by those senators and those House members in the next few days, many now say. And what is this recon? It's money for you. Average viewer of this channel will be getting about $15,000 for this recon. The recon has money for seniors, individuals, money for children, money for non-children's, employed, unemployed, money from all my viewers, about $15,000. As soon as it becomes law, I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money. There are 3 clusters of checks, and those 3 clusters of checks have been passed, but some of the items have been removed overnight. I'll explain which of those items as I go through each of the clusters and the 3 add-ons on top of that. Let's get to each of them starting right now. Cluster number 1 passed, hazard pay, and $4,000 of elder care. How do they do it? They got the earned income tax credit, broadened the eligibility, increased the amount of money so my essential workers get more money across the board. $4,000 of elder care got in there. Wow, incredible, great news. And then $4,000 of care for young people. They got money in there for college students, grants to the university and grants directly to the student themselves, and the Pell Grant made tax-free. And then they got in there home repairs. Yes, that'll wake up. Free home repairs if you live in a low-income community. They're in that first cluster pass from that house. But the CTC, the child tax credit, got changed overnight. Originally supposed to be 18 years, $51,000. It's looking like it may be 5 years, $15,000. They broadened the eligibility, increasing the amount of money, up to $300 every month, every year, up to maybe 5 years instead of 18 years. That is $15,000, the child tax credit. Then they got money for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufactured. 15% for the purchase of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric car, personal use, a little bit more if it's for business use. And that is the first of 3 clusters of checks pass that are staying in there as of noontime. Now let's turn to the first add-on that is being proposed to be added on top of that during these negotiations this week. That add-on being proposed to be added is this: $25,000 from Maxine Waters to you. The Los Angeles legislator wants to give you $25,000 for the purchase price of a new home. This is huge. When would this likely happen? During the escrow, right before you're about to close. Federal government give the money to the seller, $25,000 in your name. That is the first of 3 add-ons proposed, but now let's go to those second stimulus checks. And in the second cluster, you're going to see one item that's been completely removed. Well, they got paid family leave and home repairs in there. How much? Let's go over all the incredible details. $1,700 for paid family leave and medical leave. If you make $80,000 or more per year, split in half. That would be $800 a week if you make $35,000. Split in half, $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. They got tax credits in there for household and childcare. They got Medicare eligibility checks. That's coming up in the third cluster. And they got pre-community college across the board. But guess what? We got other stuff on top of that. And what is the surprise for that? Well, we now know that the tuition-free community college is coming out. Yes, the tuition-free community college is coming out. You're going to hear that later in this recording. It's removed from the second cluster. Pre-kindergarten is still staying in, and the weatherizer in your home is still staying in as of now. Definitely need to weatherize the home, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House and also keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There we go. Let's turn to the second add-on. And that second add-on comes from Bob Casey. He's looking to add in there during these negotiations this week, $250 billion. This is for my seniors and my people on disability. How does it work? Home health care. You have to stay home and you can't afford it. So what do? You have your son or daughter do it, and they skip work. They don't work because they can't afford home health care, nor can you. Bob Casey has a solution. Free home health care, so that the federal government give money to the states, and those states would give you a home health care provider totally free. That allows your son and daughter to go back in the workforce and alleviates labor shortages and gives you free home health care. Now let's turn to the third cluster checks, and you're going to see one item in this third cluster that has been removed as well. Yeah, things are coming out across the board. In this third cluster are checks for seniors and free internet. They're staying in there. Free school meals for all, checks. Cheaper prescription medication, checks for farmers, free internet, clean energy, proposed, worker checks like independent contractors, dental, vision, hearing, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. First, let's go into that Medicare eligibility age. This channel can exclusively report that Bob Casey is looking to drop that Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. Yes, that's great news. And that is in the third cluster. But the clean energy coming out. Most of, or a lot of, the clean energy checks in that third cluster removed. They were proposed to be removed by the White House late last week. I was the first to deliver the details to you. I have confirmation now. They have been removed. And that brings us to the third add-on. You've seen the first add-on from Maxine Waters, second from Bob Casey. Here comes the third add-on, the MSC. And we have a lot of details about this brand new at noontime. The MSC, the monthly IRS stimulus check, Chuck Schumer, the majority leader in the Senate, says to the viewers of this channel he's added it in there on the Senate side. But now one viewer, in speaking to Omar, who is a House member, says that the Omar staff says the House will be added it in there, and likely after it's a House bill, but before it's a House vote. Let's go over all the details of this right now. We currently have this recon. It is a subcommittee. It's not a bill. And they're making modifications, taking things out. I'm going to go over what's being taken out later in this video. And as they take things out, people are trying to add things in. Not a bill yet. Where can they add in these items like the MSC? First, they can add it before it becomes a House bill. Or they can add it after a House bill but before a House vote, meaning you would look at the House bill, it wouldn't be in there, and then they could add it in there before they vote on it as a House member. That's what Omar's office told one of the viewers' channel, and we've heard this before from Pelosi, AOC as well, that they would add it in there after it's a House bill but before it's a House vote. But we have another opportunity, and that big opportunity is the Senate side, the vote-a-rama. The vote-a-rama, the very last 2 days, 48 hours of this entire process. When the Senate gets what the House has passed, the senators can add in there a monthly IRS stimulus check. And that is after Coons, Casey, Warren, Sanders, Schumer have told thousands of viewers of this channel they're added in there. And Schumer's office telling Debbie Applegate 2 weeks ago, another viewer last week, and a viewer the week before, Donnie's wife, that he's adding it in there. Let's go over the details. The 2-day vote-a-rama is a date in which the senators add in stuff by what's called amendment votes or amendments. Chuck Schumer's in charge of the vote-a-rama. He's in charge of which amendments are called for a vote. And he's also the guy who says he's going to put a monthly stimulus check provision in there. So who's in charge of the clothing at the vote-a-rama? Mitch McConnell. He determines if you're vote-a-rama-ish or not. You know, you just have to look the part. And there's a total turtle dance at the noontime. There you go. That is the vote-a-rama. And then we have one big item, which is advocacy. You're going to see later in this video why we have just really potentially 48 hours upon us to make a big push, and this letter is critical. This is a message from the chief of staff to the number one guy in the Senate, who says your advocacy needs to finish down the finish line with the recon. Don't let up. The message says the following. They now have in total between congressional and senatorial offices received more contacts of advocacy from LALATE and the number of signatures than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone is amazed by what you have done, and they have a better understanding of Americans to make through it the pandemic. They now have heartbreaking stories from LALATE, and you, LALATE, are the voice of the people across the nation. You have become too loud to be ignored. Wow, that is very, very kind. Sometimes I think I talk too loudly anyway. That's very, very kind. Please continue your encouragement, LALATE, as you have and your continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you have become, LALATE, until this becomes law. Very, very kind. So as a saying, we need to advocate. Very critical to continue to advocate, because guess what? In the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up in noontime. This is a totally different broadcast than yesterday, because guess what? A deal could be hatched within the next 48 hours. They are literally closing in. If you think it is lightning speed, it is lightning speed to infinity. I'm going to tell you why things are moving so quickly. Then we'll be going to why Democrats did not tell Americans enough about the recon, and now you know more than nearly 90% of Americans. What happened? I'll have the latest details. The price is right. The recon will come in at 1.7 to 2 trillion. I'll explain to you where I think it will come, and it's great news for you. Programs have been removed, not your programs, which ones are coming out and which ones are getting reduced. Then we'll be turning to student loan debt, and I have an opinion about this one, why the Democrats should take the deal and run with it. Then you're going to get one raise in the next few weeks if you're on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security benefits, but you're going to get 2 thereafter if fifth stimulus becomes law. And then we turn back to the 1.5 year anniversary of this channel. 140 million views in that time. We'll go over what that means going forward and what we've learned as a family and what it means for you as you go into a new week. Those details and more as we return as a huge noontime comes back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, direct from Santa Monica, as we go into the second half of this video, with a deal could be happening in the next 48 hours. What provisions are in, which are out. I'll have the latest details of why the price is right at 1.7 to 2 trillion. But which got removed overnight? 2 provisions axed. Which were they, and which provisions got reduced? Then student loan debt, more debt could be forgiven by the weekend. COLA, you got 1 raise, but get ready for 2 more thereafter. It's heating up, and it's fifth stimulus. Then the 1 year and a half year anniversary is this Sunday. What have we learned over the last year? I have all those details and more. But first, we're going to start with the potential deal happening, and this is big. Congressional leaders now zeroing in on a deadline and a deal. It's big, and boy, is it large. And this is LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube record. I want your part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. I'm next back with you with Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock. Then the big new Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock. Evenings LA at 5, which may be totally different. It will be the latest and final update of the day. And then we have shows at 6 all the way to 3 a.m. on the hour, by the hour, about your fourth stimulus. Very important, because most of those programs got in there. And with that, let's go over all the incredible details, starting right now with what the president's doing. The president has stepped up and has really brought us to a deal. And what's going on? This channel, over the last few months, has delivered a lot of exclusives, a lot of inside information, and today will be one of those days. Why? Because the president's not giving press briefings. The president's not giving deal memos. So if you want to look up a pamphlet, you want to get a brochure on what's in there and what's not in there, not happening. What today's stories are based upon is insiders to these negotiators, off the record comments. This is not something you're going to see a press conference about. So this is inside information you're going to hear on LA. Number 1, a deal is in the work. First, Jalapal confirms that she met with Joe Manchin for the first time ever for this recon this week and calls the meeting exceptional. She says it was great to spend time with Joe Manchin. She says a deal will be reached. She says we're going to get both the recon and the roads and bridges done together. They're going to both get done. It's a messy process, she says. Democracy is not always easy. Negotiation's not easy. There are differences. Everyone knows there are differences. We have a bridge. We have to bridge them together. And we're going to come together because at the end of the day, we're going to deliver both of those bills. The infrastructure, the roads and bridges, and the Build Back Better Act, the recon, to the president's table together. Number 2, John Tester, who is a Democrat from Montana, says the deal is going to be done. John Tester referred to what had happened over the last 2 weeks and said, I haven't seen a lot happen the last 2 weeks and the last few hours. Boy, he says, I just wasn't aware of what's going on. We're really getting to the point that we're moving along pretty well right now. Then Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, the first guy to say that he would give you a monthly stimulus check, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, says that the next 10 days are critical because December is really problematic. And we're getting really close to finishing this. The gaps are closing. And the vibe in our caucus is totally different. People are more clear-eyed, open, and we're going to get this done, they're saying to one another. Schumer and Pelosi have said that the agreement on the recon will be reached by the end of the week, which is 48 hours from now, 2 days from now, and that the House will likely vote on the recon by next week. That is huge. What is going on here? Let me explain. In my coverage of stimulus since last year, I've seen times when things zoom up really fast. You've seen them with me as well. And we recall one of those was that December moment when they got that second stimulus, CR for stimulus, done very quickly in less than 3 days. We remember that very clearly. It was a Friday, and by Monday it was done. It was just instant. And it was that Mitt Romney and the Toomey and the very, very quickly. This is what's going on right now. In the last 48 hours, it has been literally like lightning speed at the moment to get these provisions done. Why did things change so quickly? Why is this a totally different recording? A lot of things happened. One, someone got to the moderate Democrats and said, listen, tell me what the friggin' world you want and just say it, because you're not telling me. And they finally started saying it. And that's why things started moving, because the moderate Democrats wouldn't explain what they wanted. And guess what came with that? They said what they didn't want, and then people started taking out what they didn't want, and they felt accepted. It felt like it was a work together. And it came really potentially with that clean energy getting taken out last week. You're going to see in a second, carbon tax. Said they didn't want it, they took it out very, very quickly. It was sort of like an olive branch. They didn't want something, we took it out. And they came together with that understanding. Number two, they understand December's a mess. December is not when you want to do a recon because there's too much going on in December. There's not enough days. They need to get it done right now. Number three, the numbers are really close. They're not that far apart. And no one needs these programs to run for 10 years. And all of my commentary yesterday has now really come back, which was, I said, remove the climate. They removed the climate. I said, cut the programs from 10 years to 5 years or shorter. They did that. It was so sort of obvious. I said, it's so simple. What's so difficult here? They did the simple. They got it done. So that is why the next 48 hours are critical. You need to be advocating really a lot. You need to be on those phones calling all those House members, those Senate members in the next 40 hours. You need to be making 2-3 phone calls a day saying, I needed stimulus. I need it for my family, my church, my community, my leg, my medical, my dental, whatever's going on with my family, my business. You need to say it because these 48 hours is when deals are being hatched. Now, this is why you're different than everyone else. And it may have felt strange for you to be viewed differently over the last few months. Now we know why. I had been seen, and you had been seen, countless people going in the chat saying, I don't hear this mentioned anywhere else. I don't hear this talked about anywhere else. Guess what? Democrats knew that problem. This is the situation. A new CBS poll released says 90% of Americans don't even know the recon exists. And of the 10% that know the recon exists, they can't even tell you what's in there. And that's why so many people were coming in the live chat and saying, I don't know, I've never heard of this. Why have I not seen the local news? Why have I not seen the broadcast news? It was not being covered. And who's the fault? Not me. I'm covering it. This channel's doing well. You're doing well. We're learning about it. The problem was the Democrats. And the new report is shocking the shoes off of them. Majority Whip Dick Durbin, Democrat out of Illinois, was asked about the CBS poll that said 90% of that only 10% of Americans can even tell you it exists, the recon exists. And Dick Durbin says, I'm not surprised by it. I do not doubt it one bit. I think that was our fault, the Democrats. We undersold the recon and we underperformed it too long. We now have a chance to close it the right way, meaning they didn't tell Americans enough about the recon. And now that Americans don't have the information unless you review this channel. The price is right. Boy, this is great news. The price is right. The recon, it will go to somewhere from 1.7 to 2 trillion. Let me explain to you why you may be hearing so many different numbers in the last 24 hours. Yesterday, I told you that the moderate Democrats like anything up to 1.9. Over 1.9, they get a little squeezy, a little seasick. I had told you that 1.7 is doable. Well, guess what? These are where the numbers are right now. The president during his meetings yesterday said, let's do 2 trillion. The moderate Democrats said, I like 1.7. But the moderate Democrats have also said they'll go to 1.9. Where do I think it's going to land? 1.9. Does it make a difference, 1.7 to 2? Absolutely not. Why? Let's go over the details. The recon at 3.5 trillion, I had exclusively reported to you, were 10-year programs. I said just cut the programs in shorter duration, 5 years instead of 10 years. Half of 3.5 is what? 1.7. Done. I said that over the last 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. Guess what they're talking about? 1.7 to 2. 2 trillion is about 7-year programs. 1.9 is about 6-year programs. 1.7 is 5-year programs. Everyone's fine with 5-year programs on this channel. We're all fine. And so that's why yesterday when I said 1.9, I said, I love 1.9. That's 6.5-year programs. That works. What's going on? Back in July, when Bernie Sanders met with the moderate Democrats to agree upon a recon, he said 7 trillion. And at the time I was speculating. I said, I think he's asking for 20-year programs. I said speculating. It's now been confirmed I was right, that he was asking for 20-year programs because the president wanted the programs to run for several generations, did not get it. They said 3.5 trillion. And at the time I speculated. I said, I think the programs are 10 years at 3.5 trillion. We now have the confirmation from Jalopal. The programs were 10 years at 3.5 trillion. I said that doesn't make sense. We don't need programs to run for 10 trillion. If that's a holdup, just shorten the programs. You need big, large checks this year, next year, the year after that. That's 3 years at least. I don't need to be focusing on year 8, year 9. Just get these out now. And that's what they all said in the last 2 weeks. Pelosi, Jalopal, you and me were all saying the same thing. Shorten the duration, keep the programs in there. And that's why they got this into the 1.7 to the 2 trillion. Bottom line is that the number doesn't make a difference to you if it's 1.7 to 2 trillion. What is the reaction to this number? The price is right. Well, Debbie Dingell, Democrat from Michigan, says the president's being decisive. He's showing leadership. That's why it's getting done. I think it's going to get done this time. Patty Murray, who's Democrat from Washington, says there's a real consensus at the time. We're getting it done. We all see the timeline. We're all struggling to get it into the bill. And then it's Steny Hoyer, who's the majority leader in the House, and he determines when they call votes and things like that. He says we're working to have both of these bills ready to be passed before that date of Halloween. Now we've made significant progress, and that's success towards its ends. One of the success was really potentially that olive branch, removing the provisions, which I said over the last 2 days in my commentary, just get them out. If they're controversial, get them out, and they appear to have gotten them out. Number one, climate. The controversial climates have been removed. Controversial provisions from climate were the holdup and Joe Manchin's holdup. They got him out. He's more happy. And then what are they cutting out? Let's go over the details. First, they removed clean energy. A lot of the clean energy freed up a lot of money on removing that. And then community college. The free community college class, which teach you how to take the class called LALATE. What the world is he saying? Now you'll never know what I'm saying unless you pay for it. So they took it out. Who took it out? The president did. The president told progressives yesterday, you got to take out the community college. He also said, can't do the child tax credit for 18 years, reduce the number of years, likely 5 years. Jalopal confirmed there will be some higher education money in there, but it won't be the free community college. On the other side, Joe Manchin, with the carbon tax out, I covered that yesterday, it's out. And the green utilities, the clean energy, it's out. That's what he wanted as well. So this is all great news across the board. What did they do? They basically went with everything that I've been saying they should do over the last 2 weeks. I said the finish line is right in front of us. Who are we playing games with? Just shorten the duration of the programs, number one. Remove the controversial clean energy programs that are hold up for Joe Manchin. Remove those. And remove the prescription medication language that Kristen Sinema doesn't like. And we're done. And it's as though they were watching this recording or as though they had the same Vulcan mind melt as me. They did exactly what I said that they need to do. It was so obvious, and they got it done. And with that, they are pushing to get the substance of the recon agreed to by Friday and the vote by the Friday thereafter, which is, I don't know, I think it's like the 30th or the 29th. This is after they had really come to an understanding last week that they need to get it done now. It was no less than 2 weeks ago that Bernie Sanders says we need to hear what the moderate Democrats don't like. They heard it. That was the big difference. And then Pelosi said we got to get the recon done because it must get done. Absolutely. And then she said, central to the legislation is the climate part of the bill. Absolutely. It is central because that was the big battleground. That was the holdup, was the climate. It always was the holdup. Take it out, or take out the part of the climate that's controversial, and then you got a deal, and they did. And that brings us to the Jalopal quote, which was really the biggest one. The Jalopal quote was exactly what you and I have always said. Big, quick checks now to you. That's what I always said. Don't worry about the climate. Don't worry about the tuition-free community college for 20 years. Focus on the big money right now. This is an urgency. There's an urgent situation, and that's why it's called a recon. Jalopal said, we rather reduce the number of years of the programs because the universality of the benefits and the immediacy of the benefits are absolutely more critical. And frankly, that's more important to us than having the entire 10 years of the program. There you go. We're happy to see the speaker said something like that in a press release. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Everyone is agreeing. Things are moving lightning speed across the board. And that would bring us to the next thing that seems so obvious to be done as well, not part of the recon, but stand alone as really an executive order, and that is student loan debts. The president forgave 1, 2, 3 student loan debts, and the Democrats should go into the holidays by accepting his offer. What's going on? Let me explain the details for you. About a month ago, the president forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation. Your debts are forgiven. Then the president just a few days ago forgave 2 more rounds of student loan debts. The first one are for individuals who went to work in the nonprofit sector 10 years after graduation. Your debts have been forgiven. The president then did a big one, which is forgave the student loan debts for people who went in the public sector 10 years after graduation. Your debts have been forgiven. City Hall, your city, your county, your state, your federal government, if you work for them for the last 10 years, yes, your debts are forgiven. Public school teacher, sanitation driver, public works inspector, yes, all your debts are forgiven. These aren't big paying jobs. They're just not big paying jobs, and you would never have been able to pay down the student loan debt. He has now passed and wiped away your student loan debt. Absolutely incredible. One viewer learned this during the morning's countdown show. He was on the live chat and said, what? I've been a prison guard for the federal prisons for 20 years since graduation. Do you mean my debts have been forgiven? I said, yes, sir. Your debts have just been forgiven. He was shocked. Now, this brings us back to common sense thinking again, which has been a big topic of this channel this week. Common sense is go into the holidays and do it one more time. The president has offered the Democrats $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness right now for everyone. Everyone. The Democrats should take it and run with it and use the language that the president wants to do more at a later time, he can do more at a later time. This is executive order. It's not a recon. It's done in a blink of an eye. Imagine how big this would be for the holiday season, that people who have those student loan debts have the interest payments. The debt is reduced by $10,000. It's big, and the Democrats should take it, and that is where we're going. Also, big exciting details is that COLA raise. Wow, that COLA is going up, and that COLA details are incredible. What's going on with COLA? Well, COLA was raised by Social Security Administration last week, 5 to 6%. But guess what? You're not done there yet. Fifth stimulus is coming up right after fourth stimulus, and fifth stimulus raises your benefits up 2 more times after this. Let me explain the details. First, under the COLA raise, your benefits are going to go up 5 to 6% next year. Not just next year, but lifetime. The check you look at right now, goodbye. Kiss it goodbye, because you're never going to be at that lower check. Once you get raised up, you never step down. But this stimulus has several forms. First, they're going to raise you up again if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And inflation is not going to be 0% next year. When they apply the benchmark to replace COLA of inflation in December 2022, it's going to be 0. It's going to be 1 to 3%. COLA may be 0. And that's huge. Let's go over the analysis. First, you're going to be raised up 1 time under COLA. Then under fifth stimulus, you'll be raised up 1 lift, and then you'll get a new benchmark next year. That's 3 lifts in 1 year. Wow. They're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to win, and love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. And that is fifth stimulus. And with that, let's look forward to what we have going forward as this channel celebrates its 1.5-year anniversary this weekend. Over the last 140 million views of the last 1.5 years, we've learned a lot. And over the next few days, I'm going to be detailing my thoughts on what we've learned and what it shows us going forward. One of the things we've learned is that information and details is very important. During the commercial break, I saw some people during the commercial break already asking questions, which shows that maybe they haven't listened to the video. Maybe they haven't listened to the video. They were immediately asking questions that shows that you need to laser focus on details. This channel launched in April of 2020 when people had missed a certain detail. What happened? It's something so simple. They had applied for the EIDL loan and grant, and they had put the wrong routing number in their application of their checking account. They put the wrong checking account number, or they reversed the numbers, or they mistyped it. Can you imagine mistyping a number cost someone $10,000? $5,000? Yeah. If you don't pay attention to details, details will nip you in the bud. And that was one of the very first hit videos on this channel, was me telling people, did you type it right? I mean, it sounds like so obvious, but it absolutely was a game changer. People had made a mistake by reversing numbers or mistyping numbers or even using the wrong number. And they said, oh my God, I put the wrong number. How do I fix this? And then I showed them how to fix this. This is what we talk also about: third stimulus, fourth stimulus, and fifth stimulus. There's a lot of money in the stimulus package. There's up to $15,000 you will get in this incredible fourth stimulus recon. The average viewer of this channel will get about $15,000 in this recon. But you have to be attentive to detail. You have to be attentive. And I always say, take notes, write down, I want this item, I want this item. That's why I launched the Purple Hawks, because Purple Hawks is about getting detail, getting big sums of money you're entitled across the board. So in the last 1.5 years, we've learned that when you're looking at money and when you're looking at getting money, you have to be attentive to detail. Things are not automatic. And at no time have we just focused on the automacy or automaticness of money. It was very unfortunate that somewhere along 2020 to 2021, some people got used to automatic things. Things just automatically coming. Life is never automatic. The biggest monies come from information. The biggest monies come from you picking up a pen and doing something. And when you see that CBS poll that says 90% of Americans don't even know the recon exists, 10% of Americans that know the recon exists can't tell you what's in the recon, that is why you are a step above everyone else. You know what's in the recon. You know what was in the recon yesterday is out of the recon today because of this video. You know what the numbers of monies you can get. And what I always tell viewers is don't compare yourself to the next person. If your neighbor or your sister or your brother doesn't care to learn what's in the recon, don't compare their lack of information or lack of knowledge to your time that you took to learn about what something is in there. And if they want to tell you, I haven't heard about it, I haven't seen it, I haven't heard it, I haven't seen it on my local news would carry it. Don't reduce yourself. When you get information, you become a stronger, more empowered person. And that information puts you above everyone else. And with that, let's turn over to third stimulus, because third stimulus is still heating up. And guess what? Have you gotten $40,000 from third stimulus? We're going to get it right now. We get some money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And it starts right now. I have the big sums of money available for you under third stimulus. And the great news is that third stimulus is still paying. We're going to start first with the rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. Then we're going to go to the nonprofits. Listen to the keywords I say in this video. But let's start with the 6 places you reach out to for that rent, utility, and mortgage assistance. It is your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, and your state hall and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. One viewer last week got an additional $36,000 for rent. His name is Mark. He originally got $25,000. How did he do that? By understanding, as other viewers have as well, that there's multiple rounds of money. If you've gotten rent before, you can get rent again from this channel. Next, utilities. If you got one utility bill paid, go get the second one. I had a very nice person send me a message on Twitter overnight say, hey, I got this, and I got this utility. I said, good, congratulations, go get some more. He got 1 utility. I said, go get some more utilities. You got 5, get 5. Average utilities are going up to $15,000 for viewers who've gotten for this channel. Rent, people have gotten $40,000. Then get Snap. I think Snap may be the biggest legacy of this channel. I think if there was a single item I've gotten people more across a broader stroke of people, it's Snap. I've gotten $25 million for EIDL, but I think Snap is the big one that I've got a lot of people. Why? Because they're going to get it for the rest of their lives. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $26,000 every year because of this channel. What went on? Everyone's SNAP benefits are going up an average of 25% automatically starting in October. Yes, nationwide. So get that SNAP. You get it from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easy than a stimulus check. And then let's turn to those unemployment benefits. 2 of them. First, from your state, due to overpayment, it's coming. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. And then the refund check from 2020 that you pay taxes on, it's coming. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you got any sums of money from this live chat or from the show, post in the live chat right now because you inspire other people. Finally, if you haven't become a member, you need to. The membership delivers you a newsletter daily, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. from me to you. What is in that newsletter? Information about how to get this big sums of money. The newsletter is sent out via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is totally free, which is news.lalate.com/alerts, also in the description of this video. In there, I show you how to get the sums of money. That's why the average viewer of this channel is getting $40,000 from third stimulus. Imagine we have a CBS poll that says 90% of Americans don't even know the fourth stimulus package exists. 10% can barely even tell you what's in there. Imagine how many Americans have gotten $40,000 from third stimulus. I bet the vast majority of the viewers of this channel. They got a $1,400 third stimulus check and they called it a day. Everyone else, they didn't know there was all this other sum of money because they were not a viewer of this channel. Average viewer still getting money from third stimulus. So look at that newsletter. Focus on that Treasury statement and also the nonprofits. Let me turn to them, which are also featured in the newsletter. 5 nonprofits. The 5 nonprofits pay for the same items under third stimulus, but with different eligibility. So if you have an eligibility problem, reach out to them. They are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. The great news about the nonprofits is they pay for other items that the federal government doesn't pay for. Homeless people in the shelter. Then clothing, if you can't afford clothing. And they're really big on making sure you are warm during the winter months. Portable furnaces, portable heaters, refrigerators, broken windows, and glass. They do that as well. Here again are the 5 nonprofits. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, if you haven't become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. And with that, we got a whole lineup of programming coming up later today. We have 1 o'clock afternoons LA. This video will automatically take you there. And then we got the 3 o'clock afternoons LA, which is going to be totally new. Evenings LA will be different than the afternoons LA because it will be the latest update since right now. Since right now. It'll be the latest update, and programs are coming in, programs are going out, modifications are being made. This is all inside information. It's all detail, off the record. You're not going to hear a press briefing of the president. You're not going to hear a pamphlet. It's all behind the scenes negotiations covered on this channel. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family that now has 16 hours of programming. Shows at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30, and then I return tomorrow morning at 3 and 3:30. A lot of money for you to get under this fourth stimulus RECON, so subscribe. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Join me next on Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock. This video will automatically take you there. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.